news,
Lobbyists are fed up with politicians accepting their money and then not coming through.
opinion,
When the automated police force orders you inside, that's just them doing their job.
remix.
Even lost my job partially due to the whole global warming issue. Increase in oil prices. This guy's scared.
This is Top Story with KLIX and Jill Skeen,
I've been a listener for about 20 years.
I'm talking to you makes me feel better.
where the news meets your opinion. Pick up the phone and talk about it. 736-0300. That's 736-0300. Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, KLIX and Jill Skeen.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-woo!
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have sad news this morning. The United States is out of the World Cup. Now what are we gonna do? Holy smokes!
30,000 people took off work yesterday to watch the World Cup.
Oh, you've got to be kidding
I am
me.
not kidding you.
30,000.
30. That's probably what they estimated. Who knows how many more? Yeah, 30,000, and
Well, the bars must have been happy.
it was a shame, though. Yeah, it went into overtime, and then they lost 2-1, and they really hung in there. And
So now the U.S. comes home.
yes, but you know what? This is the farthest they've ever gotten. What the heck? The goalie made a record of blocking like 16 kicks. So, there you go.
So what place are we going to be in?
What? Nothing. We're not. We're done.
I mean, like
we're out.
24th or anything
out.
like that?
I don't
We're just,
know.
they don't, okay.
Well, they made it to the round of 16, so that's good. So they can hold their heads high. 'Cause,
Okay.
Last time we were out the first time
All right.
in overtime. But anyway, you know what? I think it really raised the level of soccer in this country. It was kind
Probably
of fun.
did. Yeah, it probably did. I
Yeah.
remember back in the middle of the last century when
Do
I
you?
was in, I think, junior high.
Mm-hmm.
It was Bobby Fischer, the chess genius.
Yeah.
And, he was a very eccentric individual, and he had all these weird demands. And, of course, it made the world news back then. I mean, the big news was the Bobby Fischer and Boris Spassky, I think it was, playing chess. And everybody was playing chess.
Right, yeah.
You couldn't go to a store and find a chess set because they were all sold out. So maybe that'll happen with soccer balls.
I
don't
think
know.
it really raised the game where people were interested, and I mean we were watching it. I don't even know the rules. We're like, what's happening? What's the yellow flag mean? Why are they faking it? Who knows? Why is there extra time? I don't know. But you know what? It was a good run. Good for them.
I have to say, I did not watch it. I never even thought
You
about
don't like
watching
sports,
it.
and
I'm
that's
just
okay.
not into sports, and I figured I'll hear about it the next morning anyway. So,
Well, I have to tell you, Kelly, I have an announcement.
ladies and gentlemen. By the way, welcome to Top Story.
Welcome to- yeah, really, hello.
736-0300. We have Magic Valley Speedway coming up shortly with Ashley Houle. At 9 o'clock, we have State of the City with, I believe, Twin Falls City Councilman Chris Talkington. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will, a moment of silence for an announcement from Jill.
The cat has won.
The cat has won.
That's all I can say. I know I've been complaining for the last few weeks how little Gracie, she's been waking us up, meowing, meowing, meowing. The pet psychic, I have to find a new one. She was disappointing. She didn't really help. I didn't get an appointment. She just said, I think it's nutritional. Well, you know what? We just took the cat to the vet to check her out for $222. She's fine. But anyway, the cat has won in the sense that now both Tom and I slept with earplugs in.
Oh,
Last night.
I thought you were
Earplugs.
I thought you were going to say you just got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning now.
I still hear her even through the earplugs, but I'm like, what has happened? The night before, apparently, Tom had earplugs, and I didn't know it. And then when the cat started meowing, I said, "No, Gracie," which then woke Tom up. The cat didn't wake Tom up. I woke him up, apparently.
Yelling at the
he
cat.
Goes, I said, "What?" He goes, "I had earplugs in." I'm like, "You had earplugs in? You didn't tell me?" So anyway, last night he gave me a pair of earplugs. I'm like, "Okay, I'll try it." But, it's really weird to sleep with earplugs. You almost sleep better because you're just like in this little...
Yeah, a
thing,
little zone. You're within yourself.
But yet I could still hear her. And anyway, but now we are sleeping with earplugs, which I thought, what is wrong with this world? So anyway, I have to find a new pet psychic.
Another thing you might try is white noise.
White noise?
Yeah. We have a fan that we let run during the night, and it just blocks out, like in the evening or at night when you go to bed and there's still people out shooting off fireworks and such.
Right.
If you start a fan or something like that of a white noise, it helps you go to sleep and it blocks out all those noises. So I'm a big believer in white noise.
She's pretty penetrating. So anyway, I'm exhausted. I'm glad it's a long weekend. I just want her to stop meowing at 4 a.m.
And maybe she's still mourning the loss of her
I know,
sister,
little
I
Lizzie.
guess.
I know,
Yeah.
it's sad. And that's what really annoyed me, the pet psychic, because I never told you. I contacted her. She goes, "Is this an emergency or just a normal reading?" Like, there could be
my.
emergencies. So anyway, I said, well, I told her what happened, that we had to put Lizzie down. And I think Gracie's mourning. This is where we parted ways. When she told me that cats don't mourn, that we're just in the same time. And I said, well,
really?
do you think she's talking to Lizzie? No, anyway, and then she just said, well, I feel it's nutritional and blah, blah, blah. And if you email me, I can send you a sheet. So I got no reading. She never called me back. Yada, yada. I got to find a new pet psychic.
Oh, wow.
So I was dismissed by the pet psychic. But I'm sorry. I think animals mourn. I'm sorry. I've seen it on videos.
Oh, I do too.
And,
Yeah. Our dogs have mourned when we've lost one of them. And I think Moby is still mourning the loss of Monty. So.
And they don't understand where they went. They just know
Right.
they left one day and
they
they're
didn't
never
come
coming back.
Right.
So anyway, okay, that's in case people are wondering what's ever happened with this. This is what's
In
happened.
case everyone is wondering
what
is happening in Jill's life.
With the cat psychic.
All right.
I need a new one.
Okay. Well,
All
anyway, we do have some news for you this
What?
morning. We talked about this for the last couple of days. There has, ladies and gentlemen, been a decision made in the fish and game issue with the controlled hunts. Allow me to read a story from KMVT. Idaho Fish and Game Director Virgil Moore said that after careful review and consideration, all tags drawn on June 23rd for controlled hunts in Idaho will be awarded to those whose license numbers were chosen. That goes actually against the grain of all of the callers that we had here.
Every single caller
said
yesterday.
They need to follow the rules. If they didn't follow the rules, they're out.
Learn the lesson of disappointment.
Yes, say that to your 9-year-old. Life is cruel.
I know. You have to read the rules, Bobby. That's why reading's important.
They must have been written in cursive. Maybe that's what it was.
Because we don't teach that anymore.
To compensate for the tags that went to youth hunters under the age of 12, the director will release 283 additional tags to be drawn for those deer, elk, and pronghorn hunts, which have a limited number of tags. All existing applicants who were eligible prior to July 1 will be included in that draw. The additional tags are being released in response to hunters who felt their chances of drawing a tag were diminished by the entries of 9 to 11-year-olds. Hunts where these additional tags apply will be posted on the Fish and Game website on July 2nd, which is, that's today.
Yes.
That drawing will take place as soon as possible, and the results will be available by July 10th on the Fish and Game's website. Those who were successful in the original drawing and those who are selected in the additional drawing will have until August 1st to pick up their tags.
And there's one group of people that are probably saying, well, if I'd known that, I waited and we were going to draw later. They're sort of out of luck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think it was a good ruling? I mean, really, what choice did they have?
Now, wait a minute. According the way
the
I
ones that
understood the
called
story here, well, if there were people who didn't even put in for it thinking they did not qualify,
Yeah.
for those who feel like they were kind of cheated out of it because these 9 to 11-year-olds were in on the drawing and
So
they weren't
could
technically
apply.
eligible. They can still, the way I understand it, they can now apply for this second drawing.
For this one.
For the 283 additional tags. I think that's why they were doing that, was to try to make it fair for everybody.
The ones who waited. Okay.
Yeah, to try to make it fair for everybody.
What do people think? Do you think this is equitable?
7360300, top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, Chris, Jill.
Who?
What?
Yeah, I'm having one of those mornings.
Oh, come on. What's going on?
Jill asked, what should they have done?
Yeah.
They should have followed the rules.
I'm a little surprised that they didn't, but however, I have to say, when Jerome Hansen was in here, and just the way he was talking, it almost sounded like they were leaning toward giving everyone the benefit of the doubt and just going ahead and doing the best they could.
I had a bear tag and got a bear in the right area, and I read the regs about the right area, but I didn't go all the way through them. And it says you have to report to Fish and Game within 15 days for them to take the canine tooth for age and inspect the bear. Well, I didn't do that, and guess what? I got tagged.
Oh, they nailed you.
Rules are rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. If we're going to sit there and complain about rules about the government and everything else,
you're
what's
right.
the difference?
You're right. You're right.
So little Bobby should learn the rule of disappointment and not reading all the rules. No, it's true, though. You're absolutely right.
He is right. He is right.
I mean, they were like, we don't want to diminish the enthusiasm. Well, you know what? Maybe they'll make them want it more.
Yeah.
Let's
or
read
it will teach them, hey, if you're going to do
gotta
this stuff, you got to follow the rules.
Like, this is tough stuff, Fish and Game. Look what happened to our poor caller.
0300, top story, you're on the air.
Yes, I would like to know if I can touch on a World Cup, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. The thing I wanted to bring up is I want to know your opinion on this and what your thoughts are on it. Seems like a lot of American football purists really seem to put down soccer. And they're two whole different games. You can't even compare them.
Right.
But the thing is they tried to American football in Europe, South America, and it just doesn't go. But soccer is a beautiful game. It's a world game. And it seems like for some reason, a lot of American football purists are always kind of putting it down soccer. And I grew up playing soccer, and I think it's going to get huge. And I think one reason is because all the Latinos here. In Seattle right now, the Seattle Sounders is the most popular professional team right now in Seattle. It's not the Seahawks or the Mariners.
Are you calling from Seattle?
No.
Yeah, I moved down from Seattle, yeah.
You moved down here from
Seattle.
Seattle.
Okay.
No, I agree with you. And I think it's really elevated the game in the U.S. I think the World Cup and how the team is done, and I think it's just going to get bigger. But, yeah, it's all around the world. They play.
Just let me say this. If you are going to sell your home and move to where soccer is more popular, get a hold of the folks at Core Group Realty, because they can help you out with that. They can get your home sold. That's what they do. They have a database of buyers who are ready to buy. They got the money in hand. They are pre-qualified. 933-2673 is the number to call, or online at getmorewithcore.com. I don't know, the phones are kind of running over about this deal. We're going to have Ashley Hool next talk about the races coming up this weekend at Magic Valley Speedway. We might have to come back to this and see how you really feel about Fish and Game's move today. Here is top story. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Welcome back. Well, Ashley is not here from Magic Valley Speedway, so I guess we'll continue our conversation on the Fish and Games ruling. But I do want to tell you that Kelly with Stanley and Company has the Lowen Honey Loader. Mm-hmm. If you want to buy one, he can arrange it so you can see one of these in operation. They load all types of manure, anywhere from liquid to frozen and dry. They have low horsepower requirements, fast loading up to 7 miles per hour, and they have a large inventory of Lowen parts in stock and on-site service. So if you go down, if it breaks down, it's not down for long. They'll send somebody out to fix it anytime because they know that's important to you. So give Kelly a call, and his number is 404-2997. That's not his office number. That is his personal cell phone number that he has with him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
How impressive is that?
Yeah, so even if you wanted to just call him and say hi, 404-2997.
Let's just bother Kelly. Let's just bother poor Kelly. He's nice enough to give out his cell phone number. Let's just make crank calls to poor Kelly. No. Anyway, I think it's nice he's doing that. That's called service.
It
you
is.
know what I mean? That is
Absolutely.
service.
And it kind of
So good for them.
kind of eliminates all that trouble of having to go through the office and get the message or maybe not get the message.
Press 1 if you want to leave a message. Press 2.
That's right. Because, when people are interested in buying, they may be interested now, and they may not be interested 30 minutes from now.
Right.
So that's just kind of the way it goes.
Okay, well, we were talking about the tags. We had some callers. Do we not have any more?
Idaho Fish and Game Director Virgil Moore says, after careful review and consideration, all tags drawn on June 23rd for controlled hunts in Idaho will be awarded to those whose license numbers were chosen. Which means that all of these 9 and 10-year-olds, I guess, who were in the drawing.
Who didn't read the rules.
Who didn't read the rules or whose parents didn't read the rules or whatever, they're going to be rewarded for their mistake, I guess you might say.
How's that make you feel? Our last caller wasn't too happy.
Oh, no, it wasn't. And actually, it is interesting because we talked about this yesterday, and we had several calls on it, and everyone said that no, they should follow the rules. They need to follow the rules. That's why we have rules, and that's why we criticize
disappointment.
The president all the time for not following the rules. So,
There you go. You can't have it both ways.
Well, apparently you can.
Apparently with Fish and Game you can. Did that surprise you that that's how they rolled?
Not really, no, because the way that Jerome Hansen was talking yesterday, and the decision was not up to him. He was just waiting for the decision to come down from Boise. But, he said, oh, man, these little kids, are you going to go out there and tell a little kid that even though they got that hunt permit, now they can't, So I could just thought, oh, man, I know which way this is going.
He was surprised by the tone of the callers yesterday. Every single one was like, hey, rules are rules.
Yeah.
He was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah.
He thought people would be like, okay, let little Bobby do it. And then teach him how to read.
736-0300. Whoops.
Hang on. Come on. Call back.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's the ruling, and that's the law of the land now. And it's only this year. Next year, everything will be back to normal because everything will be in effect.
They had a bad rollout.
Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you today?
Well, I'm upset about that. I'll tell you that.
About the rules?
I think a lot of people
I called in yesterday and expressed my feelings about it, and then I read the letter that the director wrote. And I just, one more politician out there, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just really disappointed in that.
What did his letter say? Yeah, because I think he was sending a letter to everyone, right? Or
no, it starts out, after full review of all the information and facts, and he just starts into why he did it, and he says his decision is based on several factors. First and foremost is that there are 316 young hunters who drew tags and will have their first opportunity for a hunt taken from them if we reverse the decision. Well, that's wrong, because what they would take from them is the opportunity to hunt in a controlled hunt. They can go hunt in an open hunt.
Yeah.
And these 9 through 11-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, I guess the 9 and 10-year-olds that put in early, it wasn't the 9 and 10-year-olds. They don't know hunt 54 from hunt 52. They're 10 years old.
Yeah.
They didn't go down to Sportsman's or to West Addison and fill out it was adults that did this. And it's not, it's just wrong. And they didn't follow the rules like they expect us to. Just like the IRS scandal.
Did you not put in for it because you knew you weren't going to be eligible, or you just kind of...
No.
Okay.
I put in, I put in with my adult children. And I also feel that on controlled hunts they ought to start going to a point system, because frankly I've put in for years and years on the same hunt, and I can't I can't steal a tag out of that unit.
Yeah, and there's some people who draw all the time. I think there had been talk about that in the past. Spread it around.
I hope they go to it.
Yeah.
But, he also talks about confusion, between page 11 and page 108 in the rule book. On page 11, all it does is says that as of July 2014, July 1, the rules are changing in that, hunters can hunt at a younger age.
Yeah.
And then it refers to page 108, which clearly states they cannot participate in the first round of the draws. It's one of the clearest things Fish and Game's probably ever done.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We got a break. We'll be right back. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We're talking about the decision of Idaho Fish and Game to go ahead and allow the 300 and some folks who drew, even though the 9, 10, and 11-year-olds weren't eligible, they decided they're going to go ahead and honor them anyway and open up 283 additional tags to be drawn for the deer, elk, and pronghorn hunts, which have a limited number of tags. So,
why wasn't it the same number as the number of kids? That was odd to me. You would think it would have been the same number.
Well, I don't know. I think it depends on the amount of game that is available and
so.
such. So
the most they could do.
So we're getting opinions today.
Yes.
7360300, Top Story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. What good is there to write a regulation book and put out regulations if the people that write them does not abide by them?
See, that's kind of my concern. This would have been a tough lesson, but it would have been a good lesson because it would have at least been showing folks that, hey, this is the law. We've got to follow it. But that's not what happened. And so is it any wonder why our kids are confused today?
Yes, and the parents that put them in for it, or the person that put it in for it, should have sat down with them and said, look, I goofed.
Yeah, we made a
mistake. I
didn't
read it right.
Yeah, we got to follow the rules here. So
you really...
We missed an educational opportunity.
Yes, we did.
Well, maybe people should contact Virgil Moore. Is it Virgil Moore?
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling his email, and thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, so that's two for the rules.
Yeah, 7360300, Top Story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. What the Fish and Game did here was a huge mistake. There's rules in life. You have to know the rules on everything you do. I put in for a moose myself, so I was not allowed to put in for deer, elk, and antelope. Because that's what the rules are. I knew what the rules were.
Right.
They didn't teach these kids a damn thing. These kids now are saying, well, that's one thing I can get away with. Yeah. Well, that's the problem we got with this whole damn country right now. We got to make everybody feel good. Let's not go by the rules. Let's make you feel good.
Well, it's really the parents. Weren't they? It was. I really think it was the parents, the kids. What do the kids know? It's the parents.
Yeah, no, you're right, exactly. But you're exactly right, Jill. I completely agree with you. But it just comes down to, well, we don't want to hurt the little kids' feelings, so we're going to change the rule. We're going to affect everybody else for just a few. Well, it's the same way with our government. We're going to help just a few, but we're going to affect everybody else in the whole damn country. And I'm sick of this crap. If they don't want to have rules, throw the damn book away and just open it up to anybody, shoot whatever you see. Because why not?
Yeah.
No, I think it was a good lesson for them, but really it was more the parents saying, oh, I could put you in, da-da-da, and then they'd say, you know what, I screwed up. Those weren't the rules.
It's going to be kind of tough, I think, for the game wardens to be out there and find someone who has done something wrong, and then they're going to bring up the fact, well, hey, you didn't follow the rules in the controlled hunt permit for the youth, so, you can't. I wouldn't be surprised if there are lawsuits over this from the sounds of it. People are upset.
We haven't found one that said it's a good idea yet in 2 days.
7360300, Top Story. You're on the air.
Yes, but they should have done, you have a certain amount of time to pick up those tags before they go back to the second chance drawing. And that's what they should have done, is put them back in the leftover tags. Then they could have put them back in, and the other drawing would have been in August. Then everything would have been okay because they would have had a second chance to put back in, and everything would have been all right, because then they wouldn't have been issuing the tags out of the rule books, because they have a second chance to put back in for other people to get those tags out put in right way.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, I understand. That's not the way they're going, though.
So
and boy, I tell you what,
pretty much-
I'm kind of surprised at the passion that people have over this deal. And it's like Jerome Hansen said yesterday. He said the one good thing is coming out of this is we can see the people's passion for hunting in this area.
Well, I mean, passion for hunting or passion that they're annoyed at Fish and Game. Like, sometimes that's not so good.
Yeah, 736-0300, top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I think Fish and Game blew it. I mean, it's like a parent letting someone get away with something they shouldn't be doing. So why would they improve the next time? You know, I've called Fish and Game 3 or 4 times with questions, and they are so helpful out there. That's what the parent should have done when they come to a confusing part in the regulations. Just call Fish and Game. Get get your answer. Have it cleared up.
According to the one caller that we had, he read the rules. And there states right in the book that you're not eligible if, and pretty much
and refer to
spelled
page
it out right there.
108.
Yeah,
I mean,
108 in the rules and regulations.
Right.
So,
wow.
Well, I'll tell you what, we still got calls coming in
right
on
now
this.
It's 5 for the rules and 0 for no one saying, let little Bobby shoot something.
736-0300. We'll be right back. 736-0300 is always the number to call. And passionate people. Passionate.
They were glad. They're all passionate about hunting. I don't know if it's the right passion they wanted.
They're passionate about staying with the rules. But anyway... How do I rent a mailbox, Jill?
Well, here are the rules for that. And you must abide by the rules.
That's right.
You go to the corner of Blue Lakes and Addison. That's where the UPS store is located. You go in, you say, Charles, I would like to rent a mailbox. And more importantly, you have to tell them that Joe or Kelly sent you, so you'll receive 1, 2, or 3 additional months free. Now, he's not going to give you the 1, 2, or 3 additional months free.
No.
Unless you tell him Joe or Kelly sent you. Those are the rules.
That's the way it's written.
That's it. So don't think Charles getting around it because he hasn't. He told me he hasn't.
Oh.
So you have to tell him.
He's a stickler for the rules.
The rules. The rules are Joe or Kelly. You have to use those 2 words and tell them that you sent you. So anyway, and you say, why do I need a mailbox? Well, say you're moving, if you have a home business, but you don't have a retail location, maybe you're worried about the security of your mail. Go to the UPS store, rent a mailbox, tell Charles that Joe or Kelly sent you. You'll receive 1, 2, or 3 additional months free. While you're there, you can print, you can ship, you can buy cute little animal cards. There's no drop-off fees for prepaid packages or mail, and you can easily design or upload your projects from any place, anytime, and they will print them for you, and they're open on Saturday.
There you go.
How cool is that?
In the past, Idaho Fish and Game has been really a stickler for the rules because I have heard of people who you have to be here for 30 days before you qualify to get a hunting or a fishing license.
Like to be a resident?
Right, to be a resident.
Okay.
So I have heard of people who moved to Idaho and on the 28th or 29th day went down and bought a hunting license or a fishing license. And not long after that, Fish and Game officers knocking on their door said, you broke the rules, and they got fined.
Yikes. So this does surprise me.
This is kind of a little, and that I have to admit, that was some time ago. But it sounds like things are changing a little
now they're
bit.
like, rules, schmoles. Who needs rules?
736-0300, top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. It sounds to me kind of like it's comparable to the kids of sports that my kids are in now. They don't keep score. They don't want the kids to know that are losing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and now we can't give them and tell them that they lost their tag because their parents didn't follow the rules. It goes back to the same as you can't fix stupid, but I guess you can sure as hell reward it.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So you were for the rules. Well, I really think it's the parents' fault. If you think a 9 or 10-year-old sitting there reading the Fish and Game rules book, it's the parents. They should have said, you know what, you're not eligible till then, and we'll wait. And not to mention that they put them on group tags, so those other people were ineligible. So I assume they're now eligible as well. Anyone on the tag?
Oh, probably, yeah. It would have to be.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to
just carve out little Bobby.
That's right, yeah. 736-0300, top story. You're on the air.
Yes, this is, I think you had it wrong because the ones that follow the rules, they don't get put in, they get sent an apology letter. So It's just like the immigrants coming over legally. They follow the rules, but the ones that come across illegally, they're the ones that get all the benefits. So that's what we're teaching our kids.
Okay, so now the story here's the story. Okay, she hung up. The story says to compensate for the tags that went to the youth hunters under the age of 12, the director will release 283 additional tags to be drawn for those deer, elk, and pronghorn hunts which have a limited number of tags. All existing applicants who were eligible prior to July 1 will be included in that draw.
Who were eligible. But what about the ones
All
that waited?
Existing applicants. Okay.
Remember they waited because their
tags,
kid wasn't eligible? Those people didn't even put in.
See, the additional tags are being released in response to hunters who felt their chances of drawing a tag were diminished by the entries of 9 to 11-year-olds. Okay, so it really doesn't specifically say anything about the ones who did not put in.
Yeah, because they were waiting because the kids weren't eligible. So I'm like, well, that doesn't help them. So now they're even more aggravated.
Unless there's something more to the story that I don't know about or haven't heard yet. So it's kind of confusing. 736-0300, top story. Okay, well, we'll try this one here. See, top story, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anybody talk this morning about Fish and Game being at fault. I mean, shouldn't they be checking these before they put them into the draw?
I think they do, but I think apparently 300 of them got dropped through the cracks.
Was it because it was a group tag? Is that what Jerome said? There were so many people.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense to me because, I mean, if you put ineligible hunters, okay, so you could put somebody on from Wyoming or somebody that didn't have a valid license. I mean, all that stuff's put in the computer now. You can't even, you can't get a hunting license without a Social Security number. So all of that stuff it should be pretty readily accessible to be put in, and I just think that it's funny that everybody sits here and wants to blame the parents and everything else, but nobody wants to blame the bureaucracy.
Well, believe me, I
dropped the ball.
I think the bureaucracy is getting a lot of the blame here, and I think that is why Fish and Game decided to do what they did to help put salve on maybe some of their downfalls throughout this whole deal. For instance, like not checking them each individually and finding the ones who weren't eligible and telling them then instead of waiting until they drew. So
I know. I can't remember what Jerome said about that. Was it because they were on? I don't know.
Yeah, I remember him mentioning something about that.
I don't remember exactly what it was now.
But I think Fish and Game was kind of sort of taking part of the blame for the confusion. So that's why they kind of decided to go this route too.
A bad rollout. Everyone has them.
I guess so. 736-0300, top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, my lovely Kelly and Jill.
Well, it's about time. It's fair.
That was good. This is that Burley guy.
Hi, Burley guy.
Good morning. Hey, shouldn't the computer, if that's set up right, you can't pull that computer. It should have kicked it out. You can't lie to a lot of things on there, so.
Yeah, I don't know what the process is. I haven't put in for a hunt for years. So I don't know what the process is.
I know when you go to put an application in, if you try to pull it, it'll say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. But just a thought, maybe they could look at that and avoid this again. So.
Would it matter if it was a group tag or no? You have to enter it individually.
Well, I don't know, but the computer, if it's programmed right, it's user-friendly, and it won't let you, if you put your wrong license number in or wrong date of birth, it don't. So, yes, that's just, we'll see what happens next time.
Yeah, well, I think part of the problem, too, was that this law had not taken effect yet, and many of the hunters were names that the computer had never seen before, so I don't know.
Well, you know what? And the caller was right. The 1,500 youth hunters who understood the guidelines and did not enter the first drawing will receive an apology letter from Director Moore.
Oh, but no chance to draw.
And a gift certificate equivalent to the control hunt application fee, which they can use towards the second drawing in August. Because the law is now in effect, any hunter who will be at least 10 years old by the time the hunts will be eligible to apply. So basically, the ones who did follow the rules, they get a letter and a gift certificate.
For $6.25.
That's right.
Oh,
not even a game. Nothing.
736-0300, top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
I think that there's a possibility that when you put in your application along with your fee, it just goes right through. If you draw, then they check on it. Otherwise, they would have, even though we have computers, they would just have thousands to check on it. They check on it and they go, well, you're not eligible. Maybe we should send you your application fee back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you draw, then they check all those, and you go, whoops, here's one that did it wrong, or they're not eligible, but we're keeping the money.
Yeah, that's an
I mean, that's
interesting
the
thought.
risk you take to play the game. You got to pay a little bit to get in the pool. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That you're not gonna. That's non-refundable.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. Interesting thoughts here. I wouldn't be surprised too if Fish and Game doesn't take this opportunity to kind of update the process a little bit. Now, granted, this will be probably the only year that's probably not going to happen again, because this was that one time where it was a new law, hadn't taken effect yet, but after now, from here on, it will be in effect. So
it's like
maybe
people
it'll take care of itself.
Driving 80 on June 30th.
Yeah.
The law hasn't taken effect, and it hasn't taken effect today either, so don't drive 80.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Like it was the same thing.
That's a good comparison, actually. If the law had changed on July 1st to where you could drive 80 on the interstate, you could still get picked up June 30th for going 80.
Right, and that's what happened here.
Yeah, 7360300. Top story, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, that last statement wasn't quite true. Fish and Game, they do know before the drawing. You're kicked out long before the drawing if you're ineligible, and the statement that they're giving now that they slipped through the cracks, if you read their very first news release, I think they're covering themselves up.
So you think
they knew, and they allowed them because there was so many, is what the statement said before this happened.
So now they're kind of backpedaling.
What do you think they should have done?
They should have kicked them all out. The dads, the kids, everybody. Just like they do anybody else that makes a mistake on an application.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
This was Director Moore's quote. I stand by these kids, their parents, and their excitement, and allowing them to proceed with their first hunting opportunity for big game using these permits. I simply cannot bring myself to disappoint them given the confusion about this issue. However, it sounds like there's a lot of disappointment with Fish and Game if you don't follow the rules. You might as well let them know now. You know, this is the future with Fish and Game. You don't follow the rules, this is what happens. I don't know. I think they made a mistake.
7360300. Top story, you're on the air.
Yeah, I think the liberals in Idaho did this
to
distract from Obama's failed policies.
Come on.
And other things.
I can't even get it out without laughing.
It had to be a liberal conspiracy.
I think you're onto something. You could be onto something.
The 12 liberals in Idaho.
Once again,
what
all
about
eyes...
the speed limit? What about the speed limit? How come they're not going to change the speed limit? The legislator said, hey, make the speed limit 80, and then we still have to drive 75 to Boise. What's up with that?
Well, they have to
Another liberal conspiracy right there.
They have to do
right
the studies, you know, and so that's why. And let's spend millions of dollars to raise the speed limit for the heck of it, because we're just flush with money in Idaho. Anyway.
I think that's what it is. You know what? You're right. Due to this... this little deal with Idaho Fish and Game, the eyes of the world are upon Idaho today.
One more time.
I don't think it's quite to that level, but it makes you wonder now, after a couple of days of this decision and answering phone calls and emails from irate Idahoans, it makes you wonder if Mr. Moore would have changed that, would go back in time and change that.
And and to say, you know what, we should disappoint. Let them learn a lesson. And it's really, I don't think it's the kids as much as probably the parents. I mean, do you think they had any clue?
I agree.
Like, come on, people, read the application. If you can't read it and follow the rules, then maybe you shouldn't be hunting. How do you like them apples? I mean, really, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this
would have been a great opportunity to use this for a teaching moment, especially with the record that Idaho Fish and Game has of following the rules, because really I have heard of people who went in and got their license on the 29th day and they were not eligible until the 30th day, and they got nailed.
And it's not like they're not having a second drawing. Come on.
Right.
These other ones waited. They're going to be in the August drawing. So what?
7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I think this is all about money, because if those kids were set to put in for the second hunt, then they're going to be $6.25 a piece, limited tags. There's going to be thousands of them putting in, and this time they get to these kids get to keep the tag. They're still going to put in. The bottom line is dollars.
Well, they say follow the money. I don't know if that's what the
But
deal
those
is
kids
here or
get
not.
to keep, but they get to keep their tags. They're not doing it again.
Yeah, they are, and they are issuing $6.25 gift certificates to the ones who lost. So they're not. I guess they're really not keeping that money. I don't know.
They can use
folks.
it toward the second drawing in August.
I'm not so sure it's about money. I think it was more about not wanting to disappoint the little kids, and now they're disappointing a lot of other people. But anyway, we got time for one more quick one. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Big picture is, you look at how Fish and Game and things were run in Idaho 40 years ago, and look at it today, and the big difference is, all these liberal Californians come slithering into Idaho and ruining everything.
Is Director Virgil Moore from Idaho or from California?
I don't know.
Is Virgil Moore a liberal?
Jerome,
I know you're still on the job. Call in. Let me know if Virgil's a liberal.
If it were up to the liberals, I don't think we would have hunting in Idaho to begin with.
I was going to say, hello.
But at any rate, okay, we got the State of the City coming up this next hour right here on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. And welcome back to Top Story, 7360300, the third half of Top Story. Welcome back, Jill.
Thanks, Cal.
Coming up, we might even have a chance to talk about how the darker colored dogs in animal shelters are the last ones to be chosen.
I know, it's sad.
I had no idea.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. So that I don't know, that's interesting. So a little bit later we'll talk about that. Right now, though, we have Chris Talkington from the Twin Falls City Council with the State of the City. And good morning, Chris.
Good morning,
Hey,
Chris.
Kelly, Jill. Good morning to you.
Yeah, nice to have you back.
Oh, yeah. We've been busy touring downtown Twin Falls. We're going to be rebuilding the entire core of Twin Falls here pretty quick, including City Hall and about 5 blocks of Main Street.
All right. Now, the old clinic figures into this deal, too, because there's been some talk in the past about the city turning down the clinic and such, and I know that's kind of all part of this deal. So what's the latest update on the clinic?
We haven't turned down any building. We have several under review, looking at the structure, everything from the electrical to the plumbing to the insulation amounts. The buildings that we're looking at right now are current construction. We're not looking at potentially replacing City Hall with new construction to be about twice as expensive. So the clinic is one under consideration. And certainly for some people that are listening right now, I want to make sure that it's real clear that any statement I made earlier about the amount of asbestos in it was probably referring to other buildings. I have no firsthand knowledge about the asbestos level, high, low, or non-existent. There are several other buildings that we're looking at that we're as concerned about, and they're older buildings. But again, we hope that this is a move that will tell people at Twin Falls that the city politics is committed to keeping City Hall in the downtown area.
So you just want to make it clear that you didn't have the right information on the old clinic? Is that what you're saying about the asbestos level on your comments you made earlier in our show?
I don't have complete information on any building, and certainly that includes the clinic, yeah. But we took most of yesterday, about a half dozen from Urban Renewal, to tour the downtown area with 3 finalists who are going to be responsible for preparation of construction documents that will provide up to about $10 million of rebuilding the downtown Twin Falls for 4 or 5 blocks. It's pretty exciting. We walked Main Street, we walked the alleys, talked with people. They presented their ideas of what Twin Falls downtown should look like, and it's going to be the largest change in almost 50 years in downtown Twin Falls.
Well, I can remember when the last change took place. Just to be clear, though, so the clinic building may even still be under consideration.
The clinic building and several others are all under consideration and review right now. We have concerns about the size needs that we have. This is really driven in part to, Kelly, because we have some security issues with the police department that aren't being adequately met now because of the close proximity to City Hall and not allowing proper measures to protect the police staff. And so that's driving one of the issues of what to do with City Hall, that we want to keep it in the downtown core area, and that could certainly include the clinic and other buildings.
And do you just want to be clear about, I know there's been some actually, people concerned about your statements last time you were on our show about the old clinic having asbestos. Do you want to make it clear that you didn't have knowledge about that, and that, as far as you know, you don't know the levels at all? You just want to make sure that they are aware that you might have misspoken.
I think that's a very appropriate statement. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when are we going to start the construction downtown?
Well, I wish
everybody's looking forward. I think everybody's looking forward to the outcome, but not the.
I think going back to 2008, people got tired of all the studies that the city was paying for that nothing ever happened. We're using one of those studies called the Leland Report as a starting point, and I think that it will probably give us 6 months of a head start on the actual construction. Will it start before the end of the year? I don't know. I've been waiting for about 5 years for this to happen, and we're a lot closer now because we're down to 3 finalists, and we will be due diligence, doing reference checks, and probably by the middle of the month making a decision on which firm to go with and tell them to start moving quickly.
Do we know yet what, I know the last time you were on, you talked about having meetings to get input. Do we know what changes will be made, what it'll look like when we're done, or are we to that point yet?
Yeah, we're right to that point of what it's going to look like. We know that we have to rebuild the sewer and water lines because we have existing business that want to add employees and capacity, and we can't supply it. Right now, you can't build an upstairs apartment because there's not enough water to drive a fire sprinkler system. The plantings in downtown Twin Falls are running on just virtually totally insufficient water supply. There will be a different mixture of landscape. Trees will probably not be quite as thickly planted. There'll be a lot more emphasis on pedestrian and bike trafficking. Cars will stay on Twin Falls Main Street, we're pretty sure.
Okay, because that was one of the things of the last mall, that eventually that was going to just be a mall with no traffic, and then they changed their mind after a while. So we're still looking at cars on Main Street then.
Oh, sure, but that, this is part of the citizen input of we want to hear everyone's opinion.
So that could change then if there's enough.
I suppose it could, you bet, but I think the merchants really want to have those cars right in front of their store if possible.
Well, yeah, we just got rid of the parking meters.
So now they can finally park. Yeah. Now, Rotary is part of the plan to do the fountain. Is the fountain area still going to be in the same area?
Absolutely, but I can't tell you if it's going to be exactly the same footprint or not, but that is part of the coordination with this downtown renovation. Make sure that the money collected by private sources is well used and only is built once, so to speak, so that we have a great project that is going to attract a lot more people.
So how can people project their input on this?
Part of the decision on who to select for this downtown core development is the number of public input sessions and how the city council and administration should be involved. But if we don't have a minimum of a meeting a month or 6 over 4 or 5 months, then we're not doing our best to look for citizen input. We want to hear from as many people, hopefully that use downtown area, and provide something in the way of opportunity for them to really reshape Twin Falls so that they will be shopping there for the foreseeable future. And also having the downtown Twin Falls reinvigorated with the potential addition of a new city hall.
So, and that at the last council meeting, or at least that I looked at, that Travis Rothweiler presented possibly City Hall. I know in the past that I believe it was Councilman Milsoika brought up that it's not in the strategic plan, that it was taken out like 6 months earlier, and so what changed? And she also felt that maybe the taxpayers should be involved in maybe deciding, should the city spend $5 to $7 million on a new city hall? Where are we going with that? Is it going to be kind of approval by the taxpayers, or is it going to be a decision by the city?
Well, I won't speak for the rest of the council, but I certainly have the feeling that whatever we do for a city hall change, improvement, or upgrade has to be done through reserves, not impacting the tax base at all.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that taxpayers shouldn't have the final say-so because they elect us, but we're not going into debt on this. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Do we have enough in the reserves to build?
We do, but we have a lot of projects, too.
I know, you have a lot of projects.
And we're adding a new water system, about 5 million gallons out by Chobani to serve the industrial and the residential growth. So we have an eye on most of those dollars, but we also have to retain quite a few $1 million for reserves.
Speaking of that, too, the rebuild is underway now, the wastewater treatment plant. Is that on schedule?
Yes, it is. In fact, we let the largest contract, in my experience, we've ever done in Twin Falls. It was $17 million. There was nobody in attendance, but it was kind of a pro forma gesture because our consultant had studied it. We had an engineer's estimate, and we came in 22% under budget for it. They're now proceeding, I think even as we speak, with turning the dirt and bringing in the concrete and the steel for the actual construction. Things are going to be moving fast from here on.
Speaking of construction, there's a remodel, I guess, that's planned for the airport.
And that is another project that's 95% paid for by facility charges. When you land or take off on a commercial flight, it pays for this construction as well as the FAA. Very little local money. We're adding about 8,000 feet to the terminal to add more area for TSA to do their screening for security purposes, providing up to 3 airline desks should we attract a couple more, and a much nicer looking customer area that's going to have kind of a swept aerodrome roof line that's going to be very futuristic but be very energy efficient. So that's going to be moving on fast forward here too pretty quick.
8,000 square feet, that's quite an addition.
It really is, yeah. So. But we're looking ahead. We can't just meet our needs immediately today. And we're also beginning to think about a questionnaire to review how our booking needs for our business and our leisure airline flyers can be better met. We're not sure that we shouldn't be having a lot more commercial service.
Because they just now cut down a flight. Was it like June 1st or something? I know my mom's flying in like a week ago or next week, and her flight changed because the flight she was on was canceled.
Yeah, we have 2 jet flights now, and I think they're about 20 fewer seats, not a significant number, but they're very early and late afternoon. So
right.
I think we need to plug that hole in the middle of the day.
Well, didn't they just have that hole and then they just pulled it out? They used to have 3 flights.
Well, they had
right?
3 smaller planes.
Yeah.
Now they got 2 larger planes.
Yeah, 2
right.
jets replaced 3 turboprops. Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like when you fly out of here. If you can't get one of those seats, you are out of luck because if you have to go to Salt Lake for everything, or else you have to fly out of Boise. Yeah. So I mean, those are pretty.
That's what we'll be looking at on this questionnaire to really get a needs assessment. Yeah. We may be overlooking some real important issues.
The Auger Falls Wetlands Project.
Now, that is really cool. I got to tell you, you got to take some time to go down there, Kelly, because we have 2 of 3 of our wetland ponds now holding water, and they're getting ready to plant the type of plants in there that will hold soil together and attract wildlife. And this is water that's fully treated, meets all the federal and the state specs for purity, but we're putting into this water settlement to remove additional phosphorus, cool down the water more before it returns to the Snake River, and build a wildlife refuge. And it'll be a park, too.
We're kind of going over and above, huh?
Oh, we've got some great ideas about this being the park that is talked about. I mean, can you think how cool it will be to come into Twin Falls and be able to go down to Auger Falls and see wildlife and hike all you want to, and then go up on the rim and walk the canyon trail for a couple miles, eventually all the way to Shoshone Falls.
Yeah.
We will be a destination before you know it for a lot of America.
Yeah. Now all we need is a big convention center.
And a lot more water falling.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
There
I mean, our water needs are a concern.
Center.
Yeah, I'm just glad. Well, I don't know. I keep looking for California and Nevada to start getting eyes on our water, but
I don't know. But whoever's coming in, we're seeing 1,200 people a year come into Twin Falls right now.
How can we handle that with our water needs? You have to wonder at some point. We're going to hit the wall.
Well, you have to look ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we have to maintain the quality of life. If we just grow for growth's sakes, I don't think anybody will be ahead.
Exactly. Chris, we're out of time. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming in. Chris Talkington from the Twin Falls City Council on State of the City. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Mike Higley.
Mike Higley, congratulations.
Your $100 word of the day for today is loud.
Loud.
L-O-U-D, loud.
Loud.
Go to our website at newsradio1310.com. Click on Word of the Day. Type in loud. Listen tomorrow for your name. If you hear your name tomorrow and you played the word of the day, you win $100. It is that simple.
That's how it is. I saw this story. It probably piqued my interest for the headline. You know how the headlines sort of grab you?
Oh, yeah. And sometimes they have nothing to do with the actual story.
Sometimes. And then the other part of it grabbed me because it was Ohio, not Iowa or Idaho. It was Ohio.
Because there is a difference between the three.
There is. Can you imagine?
Among the three,
I grew up in Ohio. And funny that I now live in Idaho.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Yeah.
That's what they say to
Ohio.
Obama when he's in Ohio. Oh, hi. Oh.
There you
okay,
go.
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, hi. Oh. Anyway, it said this was what caught my eye. An Ohio teenager who he collapsed just days before his graduation. He died of caffeine overdose, according to an autopsy.
Oh, I didn't even think that was possible.
I don't think a lot of people think it was possible. That's what caught my interest. I thought, oh my gosh, did he drink all these energy drinks?
Yeah.
Did he drink coffee? Did he drink this? His Logan Steiner, 18, was found dead on the floor of his home in LaGrange around 11 a.m. on May 27th. I guess his brother found him lying on the floor. He called 911. He said his brother passed out. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know how long he's been living here. Anyway, the mother, they first said that it was natural causes. Now, I'm sorry, an 18-year-old does not die of natural causes. No natural cause causes an 18-year-old to die. Natural causes would be someone 90 dying in their sleep. Okay, yeah. Natural causes, not an 18-year-old. So then the same day his mother found bags of, and I thought this was interesting, caffeine powder in the house.
I didn't know there was such a thing as caffeine powder.
You know what? You never know today. Who knows? There's powders for everything. It took an autopsy to connect the powder to Steiner's death. Apparently, more than 70 micrograms of caffeine per milliliter of blood was found in his system.
That must be a lot.
20 micrograms more than what is considered a lethal dose.
Oh, my.
Yeah. It's unclear why he was taking the caffeine powder, but he was a successful high school wrestler. Once he told his mother he took some sort of pre-workout substance. And if you know any wrestlers, I remember the wrestlers from my high school. Do you remember, did you ever, maybe they didn't have wrestling back then.
Oh, they
Greco-Roman wrestling, before they fed the Christians to the lions.
Yeah,
Do you remember those?
Yeah, the sword fights.
Yes, anyway, but the wrestlers would always do these crazy things, to lose weight, give them energy because they would have to drop weight. They would lay in mats. They would sweat. They would wear, hefty bags. They would run in the heat. They'd spit, anything to weigh in before their match. And if they didn't, they couldn't wrestle that night, and then they would gorge. Actually, a good friend of mine has an eating disorder because he was a wrestler. I mean, they used to do crazy things to their body. But anyway, so the only thing I can assume is he thought either the caffeine powder would give him energy, right before, where he would have strength because you're kind of depleted. But I was surprised, 18 years old, and just sad what kids get into. So if your kids are doing weird things and they might mention something like that, maybe investigate a little bit more. What is your pre-workout substance that you're taking? You can't. Yeah. They're just 18. They have no sense. They're males. They have no sense.
Hey, no. Hey, no.
I'm sorry, but anyway, kind of sad.
Speaking of food.
Yes.
We haven't talked about First Lady Michelle Obama in a while.
Oh, goodness.
But
why are her numbers going up or something?
No, not really. She's worked with the feds to limit the types of foods that can be served in school cafeterias across the country in an effort to fight childhood obesity. And the federal regulations, as we know, on meat, vegetables, salt, and other aspects of the school lunch has been met with a lot of indignation from the students who have either trashed their mandatory fruit and vegetables or opted not to eat lunch at all. Now, in the good old Pacific Northwest, in the Edmonds School District in Washington State, and others are cracking down on those dastardly and evil birthday cupcakes and other sugary snacks that students bring from home under a directive from the Federal Lunch Police. Birthday parties in classrooms may be celebrated with non-food treats and favors for students. No food is allowed as part of a birthday celebration, according to the new Edmonds School District policy tied to the federal lunch rules. Appropriate alternatives to food may be shared on special occasions, can be within the procedures, the district's website states. Instead of tasty cupcakes. Students can now celebrate their birthdays with gift pencils, origami frogs. I don't know if you've ever had an origami frog or not, but they're very, very dry. And extra recess time. Yay! No more cupcakes.
You know what? I say good. Good.
Of
Because you know
course
what?
you
If I
do.
sent my kid to school and almost every day probably someone has a birthday and they're having some big cupcake sugar fix every day, I'd be annoyed. So kudos to them. And you know
Oh, my
what?
gosh.
Have them at your house.
One more place where the parents' decision has been taken
obesity,
out of the formula.
Obesity is a childhood epidemic.
Amazing, but not
Look
surprising.
at our kids.
7360300, the number to call. 4th of July sale is on at Bish's RV, and they got some things going on there. Besides having some great sale prices, like the new 2014 StarCraft. I'll get it right here. Easy for you to say. The 2014 StarCraft 24-foot travel trailer sleeps up to 6 people for under $19,000. Plus, their entire inventory is on sale. And they also have a huge accessory department. They have a full parts and inventory department, parts and service department. And listen to this. At Bish's RV, tomorrow and Saturday, they are serving slow-smoked pulled pork sandwiches. These are not sandwiches. These are sandwiches.
Is that their term?
All right? No, that's my term.
Or is that your term?
That's my term.
Oh, Kelly Klaus's term. Sandwiches.
July 3rd and 5th from 11 until 2. Now, if you've never had a Bish's RV slow-smoked pulled pork sandwich, you don't know what you're missing. And it's all happening at Bish's RV in Twin Falls at the Curry Crossing between Twin on Highway 30, between Twin and Filer on Highway 30.
You're having a tough time
Man,
with that one
I'll tell
today.
you what. I need a vacation or something.
Well, we're going to have a long weekend. Yay! Hey, the other part of that story with First Lady Michelle Obama and the school and the cupcakes, in the Edmond District, you failed to read the last sentence. In the Edmond District, the Wellness Committee's decision to ban cupcakes and other celebratory treats was also reportedly based on the fact that not all students can afford the expense.
Oh.
So I can understand that. But honestly, you know what? With the epidemic of childhood obesity in this country, and as parents, you have to do this. You can't sit there and just say to your kids, no. What are you talking about?
A cupcake once in a while? Come on.
Think about it. You have 25 to 30 kids in a class. You could have a cupcake a lot more than once a month. It could be a lot more than that, for one thing. Not to mention allergies that kids have. I mean, you know, if you had a peanut in there and someone has a peanut allergy, my gosh.
Okay, here's what we need to do.
I'm just saying, keep it out of the school. Let them do it at home. Do it at your home. Invite your friends over.
We need to ban all sugary items on school grounds.
You know what?
We need to have
Why not?
no sugar zones in the schools. We need to have sugar detectors set up at every door on the school grounds. And we need to check the kids. Can they still wear backpacks to schools, or have those been outlawed? We need to check the backpacks. And if any kid is found with anything with any sweetener in it, then they should be charged with terrorism. See there? Problem solved.
New member on their wellness committee.
Problem
way to go,
solved.
Kelly.
736.
Glad there's no hyperbole in there.
7360300 is the number to call. Let's try this one here. Top story, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I agree with both of you, Jill and Kelly, on this. I think it's nothing wrong with having a cupcake in moderation. I think moderation should be used a little bit more in this situation here. But, boy, there's a huge obesity problem in this country, too.
There is.
I agree with both of you on
And now
that.
you're are you the one from Seattle?
Well, actually, I moved down there from Seattle, yeah. And I was the one that touched on the soccer thing. And
right. Was this, where was this from? Where was the story? Did you say it was
Edmonds, Washington.
Oh,
the Edmonds School District
where
in
Edmonds
Washington.
is at. I live in Shoreline, suburb north of there, which is right next to Edmonds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with both of you on it. I think sweets in moderation is all right. But I notice here in Idaho, too, I love Idaho, but a lot of really unhealthy people. I mean, a lot of really people, they smoke. You can't go to a club in here and watch a soccer game because they smoke.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same thing. A lot of really obese people, and it's sad. It really is. But I agree with both you too, Kelly. there's nothing wrong with the beer or a cupcake in moderation.
I don't know if they serve beer at the school
There's
for a birthday.
Nothing I like better with my beer than a good old cupcake, by golly.
Yeah, have they banned the beer in the classrooms or just the cupcakes? I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. You can't have cupcakes. Beer is fine.
Well, it's got fermentation. There
7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
I was just going to give you a little update, Kelly. They have outlawed backpacks in school, too.
That's what I thought.
Did
Yeah.
they?
Okay. All right. Well,
who
hey,
was
thanks
the
for
guy
that.
who came up with the bulletproof backpack? Remember that? Oh, he's not there.
They are coming up now with bulletproof blankets.
Oh, I know.
think.
Please.
So.
Please. Talk about how things have changed in our world.
7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
I got a better solution to the cupcakes in school and sugar in school than anybody else.
Okay.
All right. Let's hear it.
Yeah, here we go. We just let the liberals abort them all, and pretty soon we don't have any kids.
Oh, bam. Adios. Okay.
All right. 7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Semper Fi, Jill. Happy 4th, you guys.
Hey, Steve. How you doing? How's your shoulder?
Oh, it's getting better. Just got out of therapy.
Oh, good.
I'll heard a little bit about this, but I'm glad you're talking about the cupcakes.
Yeah?
The question is, at what point do we stop being so politically correct? I can understand about if you have 10 kids that want to bring cupcakes 10 days out of the month. But if we use some common sense in our schools, this is a treat, and there's nothing really wrong with this if we do it in moderation.
You haven't been listening to
Is
Michelle
it a treat?
Obama. I'm sorry, my friend. 7360300, the number to call here this morning on Top Story. And if you don't know about infrared barren, you need to find out about it. If you are a farmer, infrared barren is a way to find out if your irrigation system is really doing the job it should be doing. And this is available through Far More of Idaho. They fly over the fields, they take infrared pictures, and then they upload those pictures to you over the internet. You can get them on your computer, and then you can see just exactly how your crops are doing from the air through infrared, because that offers a whole new era of information. And it's not that it doesn't cost; it pays. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, and you need to talk to the folks at Far More of Idaho about it, because they can tell you all about it. They got pamphlets. They got all kinds of information. They can tell you how it works. But you might think that you were getting maximum yield off of your fields, but you might be surprised as to how much more you could get if you had this information in your hands. So call them up at 324-3341 or get them online at farmoreofidaho.com. Okay, so now Jill will not be here tomorrow.
No, I'm actually, if you have friends in the Salt Lake area, have them tune in to Good Things Utah. I'm going to be on the ABC Morning Show demonstrating my Greek couscous salad, and you can also do it with quinoa. So it's for a healthy 4th of July side dish, as opposed to, the traditional potato salad or pasta salad, or,
but
the stuff
potato
you bring all the
salad
time.
is just so good.
You can sell potato salad. I brought in that delicious mustard dill potato salad.
You did. And
Okay.
it was very good.
Yeah, I made it last time on the Salt Lake Show, and a few of the people that were potato salad connoisseurs, that kind of make you nervous when they try your stuff. They go, I'm a potato salad connoisseur. I'm like, oh no, please like this. They said they liked it better than the regular recipe. Ta-da! So they've asked me back to be on the show. But, so I was thinking about, and I wrote a blog today on my website, jillscheme.com, about how to have
Or a cookbook is for sale.
My cookbook's for sale, but if you're local, buy it locally, because then you don't pay shipping. But anyway, so I was going to give you some things to make a healthy cookout, because everyone wants to cook out over the 4th, but then you might, maybe you're watching your weight. It is summertime. People are in bathing suits. You worry about. I know Kelly goes out in his Speedo all the time.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I've been fighting to get down to my Speedo weight. Yeah.
Okay, so these are the deals. Say, if you have hamburgers, a good thing is to make your own hamburger. Just kind of make your own meat. Blend your own ground beef, and it could be organic, so you don't have all the hormones in it, things like that. Okay, that's one thing. If you decide not to do hamburgers, You could do a turkey burger. There's some good recipes out there. Some people do salmon burgers. Some people do veggie burgers. You could also grill a portobello mushroom. Have you seen those big portobello mushrooms that you could brush them with olive oil? And you can scoop out the gills because those are kind of weird. And then you just grill them, put a little olive oil, salt, and pepper. You could do oregano. You grill that, and you could put that on the bun. You could caramelize onions. You could top it with lettuce, tomato, and guacamole or avocado. That would be yummy.
Thanks, Jill. Now I'm getting hungry.
Okay. And then also what you could do, even if you have your hamburger, you might have your hot dog, you could also, to balance that out, you could do skewers of vegetables on the grill.
Actually, we've done that before.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
So you can get anything you want. You can do peppers, mushrooms, onions, tomatoes, and you just brush it with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and you grill it. Because, you have your grill going. You want to use it more than just the hamburger, right?
Yeah.
So you have
it's actually good.
Yeah, it is. You could have your healthy potato salad. Again, you could do a couscous salad. You could do a quinoa salad if any of your friends are gluten-free.
I have no idea what you just said. Couscous and quinoa.
You don't know what couscous is?
No.
Gosh, they eat it in Mediterranean countries. It's like a parboiled.
I don't live in a Mediterranean country.
I think I brought it in for you. Parboiled wheat. It's really delicious, and it cooks in 5 minutes. So it's not a whole grain, but it's a partial grain. I mean, it's partially refined. But anyway, so you just cook that 5 minutes. Then you could add tomatoes, Greek olives, onions, cucumber, avocado, and you could do a lemon, oregano, vinaigrette. It's delicious. I bring that for potlucks. Everyone loves it. It's eaten up right away. And that's on my in my cookbook, and also for dessert. And a lot of times you don't want a gooey, heavy dessert, although Kelly might be the exception.
And God forbid we eat a cupcake.
Yeah. Anyway, what you could do, since you still have your grill going, and you know how these guys love to grill, you can grill some fruit. You could cut a peach in half, take out the pit, brush it with a little oil, salt, a little pinch of salt. You put it on the grill for like 3 minutes. It gets soft, take it off. You could brush it with brown rice syrup or a little maple syrup, and then you put on toasted almonds. Delicious. You could grill pineapple slices.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, you could grill pineapple slices. You could
I
grill
have had
apricots.
Grilled pineapple slices.
Yeah, so you could just brush it with a little sweetener if it's not sweet enough, and then put some toasted almonds on it, and you get a crunch.
I can't eat almonds, but
okay, do walnuts.
I could do walnuts.
Walnuts.
Cashews.
Yeah, so I mean, you could also have fresh fruit. It's great to have a watermelon or a melon if they're in season, So anyway, I was thinking those are great ways to have a healthy, happy, and you can still have your hamburger, balance it with healthier side dishes.
Grilled vegetables on a skewer.
Grilled vegetables, grilled fruit. I mean, you're grilling, right? You guys love that grill.
Absolutely.
Why waste it on just
It's a manly
the entree?
grill.
You could grill portobello mushrooms. Have
All
a
right.
happy, safe 4th of July, and tune in to Good Things Utah.
Good information there.
Thanks, Kelly
Yeah,
Class.
gave me some ideas.
It'd be nice, huh?
I'll have to go home and tell the little woman how I want her to fix my meal now.
Somehow I don't think you're going to get a meal with that statement.
It's time now for the Huckabee Report, brought to you by Waddell & Reed, 736-6563. You can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell & Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors, and their number is 736-6563. And with the stock market almost ready to break another milestone into the 17,000 range,
Are you upset, Kelly?
you might want to talk to him. Not really.
No?
Not really.
And Laura Nelson thanks you for that.
She's great. She really
yes,
is.
A saint, Laura Nelson.
I mean, she knows what she's doing, too. She really helped me a
Clearly.
lot on my investments.
Yes.
What few I had. But
Yeah. Anyway, I want to tell you about the UPS store. They can help you out with your mail issues and your needs. If you are moving, if you have a home business without a retail location, if you are worried about the security of your mail, people are worried about that these days, go to the UPS store, tell them that Jill or Kelly sent you, and you'll receive 1, 2, or 3 additional months free. But you must tell them that Jill or Kelly sent you. While you're there, you can print, you can ship, you can pack, they laminate, they bind. They do all sorts of things. There's no drop-off fees for prepaid packages or mail, and there is online printing, so you can easily design or upload your projects from any place, anytime. And they're open on Saturdays, so you can put it off till Saturday and send your package. You can buy a cute little animal card for anyone's birthday, and then you can make a cupcake and give it to them.
now you're talking. A cupcake.
Well,
which are outlawed in some school districts.
You know what? I say good. Yeah, we got to help these kids. It's not getting any better.
Absolutely. I know. We
help them with everything else.
Every step of the way. Even
We're
to
their parents.
Even to the point where we ignore their parents' wishes.
Oh, yes.
God bless the government.
Fat children.
God
come on.
bless
Who
the
says
government.
that? Actually, I just filmed Connections for KMVT yesterday, and it's going to air on July 19th, and we do talk about healthy eating, and I did a couple kids' recipes on that show.
Oh, now you won't be here tomorrow.
No.
Benito Baeza, our news director, will be setting in for you.
Might not be the liberal voice you want, but he's our news director. And he's a warm body, and he'll give Kelly someone to talk to.
That's right. So we might even have an open mind Thursday.
Why not? Because you're not here Friday. You're not there Friday.
I'm trying to get a hold of Debbie Blackwood to talk about
yes,
pets and fireworks.
Not a good combination.
Hopefully
Please, people, put your pets inside. Please, please, please.
Yeah, we will have the cops with the bad guys list tomorrow, though.
Yeah,
sure.
So listen up. You can earn some money.
So that's it for today. Yeah, we won't be here Friday. We're taking the 4th off.
I know.
Won't be here Monday either. We're taking a 4-day weekend, but Bob Jackson will be in Monday.
Pinch me.
We'll be here tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
And Jill will not.
Tell your friends in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Yeah, and we're going to have fun tomorrow because Jill won't be here.
Hey.
We'll see you.
You'll miss me.
See you Tuesday, Jill.
Have a safe 4th.